Our first piece tonight with Jazz Ensemble is Ready When You Are. It's a Doug Beach tune. You're going to hear Almir Rahman on flute and Dan Joseph on tenor.
Improvising on the blues, and we have 4 solos for you tonight that they've worked out, written, and are ready to play. All right, let's do it. The first one you're going to hear is Ryan Fisher on tenor, then Almir again on flute, Jacob John on alto, and Dan again on tenor. Hope you enjoy. chose an interesting pathway to get to the microphone. He ran around the entire back and the rhythm section, and he almost made it in time. That's great. All right, our band's going to play some funk now. It's an original tune by Dean Sorensen, and it's called Power Move. And you're going to hear Lionel Burton on vibes. And you're going to hear Behan sing on alto. Hope you enjoy. You're also going to hear a nod to play that funky music. Famous tune. The next tune is another original called Sax to the Max. It features the saxophone section, and it's by Mike Lewis. samba called Samba de Roda by Dean Sorensen, another original. And you're going to hear Ari Patel on vibes for a solo and Tanish Khadze on alto. Thank you.
Good evening. I know, the marathon continues. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Right? We are now on hour 17 of our 24-hour marathon of high music at Crossroads. Yeah, thank you so much. I know it's the last minute change. I really appreciate you staying in this room right now and hanging with it. In case you haven't realized, the entire evening, even though it is long, even though it is super, super long, you are actually lucky because you get to see what me and Mrs. Olson get to do because of you. You allow us, those three groups in the gym and the two groups in here, is because of what you as parents and taxpayers support and give us back. So you, seriously, we're just making sure you understand we're using your money very wisely. As much as we can. So, our first number is a standard swing chart, Duke Ellington, don't get around much anymore, featuring two soloists, Rayon on the tenor saxophone and Zach Strobel on trumpet. Ready, go on. And 2, 3, 7, 1, and 2, 1. All right, thank you very much. Our next tune, just keep it rolling along, is a samba by Dean Sorensen. Might stand the word. Samba by Dean Sorensen, featuring two of our soloists and improvised solos for you. Then on vibes and Sid on trombone. This is Samba Norte, which is north, and hope you enjoy. Vedant on the alto saxophone. This is called After the Rain. It's a Larry Nick original. These first 3 charts are the 3 charts that we take out the festival, the Princeton High School Festival and such. These are the pieces that we have worked on a lot and have performed a lot, and we're excited again to share with you. It's After the Rain featuring Vedant on alto saxophone. I thought he was crying. He held that one note and he moved his glasses up. I thought he got emotional halfway through. He said, no, he just moved his glasses up. But it was way cooler because we stuck with the story. That was awesome. Good job, man. So this is our fourth piece. Again, moving along quick. This is featuring this vehicle. It's an Ides of March 70s rock tune, funk tune. Totally different style than we just heard. Featuring three of our soloists that have written their own solos for this. This will feature again Zach on trumpet. This will feature Sean on trombone in the beginning and the end. And then we'll also have Neymar on the end. Okay? This is Vehicle. Open doors.
Alright, again, it's our last tune for the night. I already said my thank yous early on, but again, thank you all the parents and the audience. Thank you to some new jazz people that we don't really get to see come out for everything. Thank you to Ms. Bino, the admin over at North. Thank you to Mr. Sears in the back, holding it down with not only supervising all of us crazy musicians, but also tonight running sound and audio and everything else. So thank you, Mr. Sears. Thank you to the North Custodial staff for setting up the entire building for us at almost 9 o'clock at night. And I'm sorry that you're not watching the Knicks game for some people. I'm sorry. I'm going as fast as I can. I'm sorry. So anyway, last chart is a blues chart. We chose our blues at the end tonight. It's a Red Garland is a jazz pianist. This is his piece called Blues by Five. So the group decided how many times we would take certain parts. So the head is the top, the melody you'll hear. We chose to go 2 times. We chose 5 soloists. We chose when the saxophones play the backgrounds, and we also chose the shout, and then they go back to the top again. This is what you see at a jazz club in New York, where you see a combo and stuff. These guys play the melody, it's called the head. They'll rip through it 1 or 2 times, and then it's solo time. And they come back to a shout, back to the head, and they say goodnight. And that's kind of what the big boys and girls do in like New York and Philly and Chicago. That's what these guys do. So they came up with this. This is out of a book called The Real Book, but a really easy book, but this will be neat. This is Blues by Five, featuring 5 soloists. Oh, we did that on purpose. Was that on purpose? Blues by Five, there's 5 soloists? Come on, we just realized that. Sean, Akshat, Arham, Amaya, and John Wee. 5 people tonight will come up and play. Again, we are Crossroads North Jazz Band. We love you all very much, and I hope you do the last number.
Thank you. Like, what a pleasure. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
All the group was really excellent. I thought solos were really over the top tonight. Outstanding. All of our soloists, congratulations. Thank you to Mr. Golden and Mr. Heffentrager because so thank you for hanging with us tonight and coming out. Please get home safely. I know it's yucky out there. And always, I have to give this reminder, be kind to each other in the parking lot.